This is my home, this is my video, and I can say what I want. And I'm just fed up with nonsense being sold to me at a high price when it is so easy. I mean, you don't even need to pick up a straw dog. You just blow it away. It's just too easy. And yet these things that are too easy to think about have murdered probably up to 100 million people. Murdered. Not against armed people defending themselves, against innocent, unarmed people who've never harmed anybody, in most cases, never harmed anybody. They've committed no crime. They've just thought differently. They've just spoken differently. They've just seen things differently. They've just painted things differently. They've just danced differently. They've played different music. And they've been arrested. Why anybody in the arts would have anything to do with these evil ideologies is, well, it's incredibly frustrating. And so I can understand why the UK minister, and I think his ideas from the UK should be exported around the world. I could understand that reaction, that response to decades of frustrating idiocy. Political correctness is junk for the brain. It's like, what do you think of somebody who eats nothing but sausages, cold dog food sausages? Oh, that is its intellectual equivalent. There's not a nourishing meal for any thinking pattern. That's probably why people have not seriously objected to it, because they couldn't believe that something so thin, something so shallow, something so impossible to believe. I mean, you could get 14-year-olds to believe it, perhaps, with propaganda, and which is what we do. But adults, mature, intelligent people? I would put Gareth Morgan's book, for instance, up against... I challenge you to read his book first, and then read Ian Wishart's Con Air immediately after a day or two, perhaps. Cogitate on it, think about what Gareth Morgan has put his money into, and then read what Ian Wishart says in Con Air. Two authors, both sides of the question, of a current politically correct question, and see which ones present facts and science to you. I mean, one of those books talks about science, and I hope you know the difference. I'm not interested in people who don't know the difference. But the other one actually brings forward what science specialises in, facts. You look at the one that brings forth facts, and the other one that talks about science. It's opinionating science. It's using the authority, the opinionated authority of science. But it doesn't state any facts. It states some facts, but it doesn't state the facts in a critical environment. Now, the guy who's against, a politically correct point of view must not only express his understanding of the correct point of view, but and he must establish a solid critique. So he has to do a double duty. It's hard a job. So which one is going to do the thorough one? When the politically correct view is put out there, it's to an audience that is already pre-digested. It's sort of a Victorian situation. Victorian people believing Victorian ideas, and along comes a radical new set of revolutionaries and scientific persons and so on. Well, we have it today. We have this soft, emotional, sentimental thinking about science and society and so on and so forth. And there's the hard people who ask hard questions, and they have to establish they do have a heart. They care about this, that, the other thing. That they understand why those solutions in the past were tried, why people believe those things, and then they must attack them and then establish a correct thing. So they must attack and establish and confirm that they do understand. So they have a triple or double or triple duty to do. It is much harder to write a critical book. It's much harder to read a critical book than it is one that is already confirming what you probably already believe. Now do the hard yards. It'll pay off. You'll be free. You'll be free. That is one of the great benefits of dealing with intellectual difficulties in art, in culture, and bucking the trend against this politically correct cultural analysis emanating from the Frankfurt School. We must know our whakapapa. We must know where our roots come from, where our cultural roots come from, where our cultural ideological frameworks come from, and almost all of them today come from the Marxists, the socialist, and slightly Jewish emphasis of the Frankfurt School. So cultural theory, critical theory, theories about culture, theories about art, theories about society and media, and theories about linguistics. Basically, even through the French philosophers, stem, and it's interesting that the French philosophers have taken them up because France itself has a heavy Marxist background, harking back to the days of the terror, the guillotine, and the French Revolution. Now this is where I started from, the French Revolution, the death toll of the French Revolution, the horror of it, the absolutely, the most dangerous thing to be in a French Revolution is to be another French revolutionary, because they were the ones who marched in a very regular French fashion. And this indirectly led to the birth of Napoleon, the dictatorship of Napoleon, and that mad rampage like Hitler. Of course, it's fashionable now because it's old, it seems romantic, and so on and so forth. But the guy was a dictator. Just like Adolf Hitler, he was terrifying in the Europe of the day. They were terrified of him, just as people were rightly so terrified of Adolf Hitler, and of Pol Pot, and of Joseph Stalin, and of Mao Zedong and Kim Il-sung. These people, speaking in the name of the people, there are no crimes so great as those that are done in the name of the mass of humanity. So I think possibly the Hollywood notion, the capitalist notion, or the democratic notion, the liberal notion of individualism is probably more correct. We are probably far safer dealing with the rights of the individual over the rights of the state, and anything big, whether it's big government, big religion, or big ideology, or like political correctness, or big business. All these things tend to bring their own abstract, anonymous, lack of accountability system, either subtle and unstated. Where is this list of words that I'm forbidden to say? Nevertheless, through abstract discourse, I'm supposedly forbidden to say them. Well, fuck you, I'm saying them. Goodbye.